Este viernes se estrena una nueva serie en Apple TV Plus, se llama SHINNING GIRLS, y pude hablar con Jamie, uno de los actores que forma parte de esta producción. Él se encarga de interpretar al asesino. Y no es un spoiler esto porque la serie se encarga de dejarlo bien en claro desde el principio. Hablamos sobre cómo fue construida su personaje y algunas cuestiones referidas a esta nueva serie de Apple TV Plus llamada SHINNING GIRLS.
We now return to Mira Akien and Contre with our latest interview.
The voice is like a key element of your character, so I want to know, how did you find it?
Such a good question. I don't know. I don't know, because we had like so many discussions about like, what should he sound like? You know, this is a man out of time. So is it better to like locate him geographically, or is it better to locate him through a certain time period in terms of that?
There are multiple women dead over multiple decades. He's the one connecting them.
There'll be more.
I'd done like a bunch of research and like criminal interviews from, you know, some recordings from the 40s and 50s, and obviously looking at old movies and looking at archetypes, and, you know, Norman Bates was kind of interest to me, and like just kind of things like that. But we never kind of rested on a model like, you're going to be like this person. I liked a little bit more of a falsetto voice, a slightly higher voice, almost like a infantilized voice, like a child. And I kind of have a pretty high pitch anyway, and my voice is kind of sing-songy because I'm from all over the place, and my voice is such a mess. So yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because I was always kind of slightly self-conscious about it. So it was, all of that went into it, but I have no idea what came out because I don't watch it, so I have no idea.
Well, and the other thing is, like, speaking of the character, you don't know from which time or period or place he is, at least in the first 4 episodes. The other thing is the fantasy, that as an audience, you don't know that this is like is in the fantasy realm until maybe the end of the second episode, and then that starts to develop. So what do you think of the way the show is like built in that way of fantasy or magical realism?
It starts with little things, and then big things. And nobody remembers anything different.
I mean, I think people who expect to come in and see, you know, a kind of whodunit murder mystery are going to be very surprised, because the show doesn't do that at all. It inverts that expectation. It bends the genre. There is sci-fi elements to this. It is a howdunit, not a who. And I think that's intriguing. I think there are just hooks in this story, whether it's Kirby's reality shifting right before her very eyes, or if it's impossible things, you know, that Harper has done that, you know, that come to light. I think those kind of questions and it keeps people guessing. I think it keeps people wanting to kind of click on the next episode. So I was hooked from the very first script that I read, just in terms of what happens to Kirby's character. But then as the series continues and explores more about all these other women, and Harper as well, it just goes deeper, and this rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and hopefully leads to, you know, a very kind of satisfying conclusion.
I don't know how, but he's been watching me since I was a kid.
Last question is related to, we know from the beginning that you are the bad guy, so it's not like you are trying to trick us or like to play the cool guy or the, I don't know, lovely guy. How was, again, shaping that character? Like, from the beginning, we know as an audience that you are the criminal, you are the bad guy.
Yeah, it becomes more about kind of, you know, because you know that it's him, which a lot of these shows or movies don't really do. They want to kind of withhold that from you so that you have to keep guessing. The show then the job for me as an actor becomes kind of slightly different, because then it's about people are just going to observe your behavior much more. They want to observe you lying. They want to observe you kind of preying on people. How does he do this thing? Why does he get the trust of these people? What is it about him that makes people so willing to engage with him? Or, you know, how perverse is he? Like, what level does this go to? So they're kind of looking for different things. So I think as an actor, you become more self-aware, more self-conscious of what things you're going to show and when. And that was obviously very long discussions between, you know, me, Silke, Michelle, Elisabeth, all the time. Like, how much now? How much do we need to hold back? What kind of element are we showing here? You know, does he kind of put people off, or does he actually, you know, are people attracted to him weirdly, or do people, you know, is he just so charming? Like, what is it about him? So those are the things that I think audiences are going to be more curious about, kind of observing the behavior and kind of making mental notes about that stuff. So as an actor, of course, that gives you, that's what you want. It's all about behavior.
Yeah.
A lot of toys in the sandbox.
Who's the man who visits you?